Welcome back to another day working on the Xterra. We got the engine right there, truck's over here if you can see it in the light. And yeah, so we got a few more things to do left on here. Let's just do an overview. So we got the headers on finally. Looks pretty good. All the stuff on the front's got to come off. We got to do a timing belt. All the stuff on the top has to come off. We're going to paint the valve covers, put a supercharger on. Oil pan right here that needs to get painted up. We cleaned that up at work the other day. And then just start buttoning everything back on, and then she should be able to fit right into there. That's sort of the plan right now. So let's dive right into it. Today we're going to do painting and some engine disassembly. Terrible lighting. Okay, so the most important part of any paint job is masking. On this, we're not too worried about anything, so we masked off the tip that's going in an engine block. The rest is okay. And we got the oil pan. You can see right here, there's a weld all the way around it, and it was rusted the whole way. So we cleaned that up, and then let's just dive in right in and get painting. So we just got to get that can shooken up. We use this paint on truck frames and it holds up pretty good to the elements, so that's what we're using.
Standing on the edge of a cliff, realize there must be more to life than this. Reaching for the stars, traveling so far, like a dragonfly. Just grab my hand from him sin. We're me tonight.
Okay, so we got first 2 coats on. We'll let that dry for a little bit, then we'll touch it again. We'll put as many coats as we can onto these, just because they're open to the elements. That's going to get hit with rocks all the time, so we want that well protected. And that's next to the heat, so it's not super important. Let's get on to some engine disassembly. First, let's get this ugly looking fan out of the way, because we have electric fans in the new one. Let's see what size this is. Looks like it is a 10 mil. So loosen that, hopefully. You have to double wrench it just to get a little more leverage. There we go. It is off. Big ugly thing. Now there's no lines connected to this, because see how there's a little coil in the center? That senses the heat coming off the radiator, and when it gets to a certain temperature, it just locks this wheel up from spinning. So no lines, just 4 bolts, and it came right off. Put it in our pile of junk. Okay, so we're just trying to figure out how to pull all of this stuff off and remember where stuff goes. The problem is this stuff and all the stuff from the supercharger are completely different stuff. Also, this is a Japanese motor off a Japanese car, so everything's on opposite sides. So almost everything needs to come from the old engine, which we just rapidly pulled apart. So hopefully I can remember where stuff goes. Hopefully people on the internet can help me figure out where stuff goes. I have an engine manual somewhere, I just gotta go find it. So yeah, so let's start with stuff that we know needs to come off of this engine and go in the bin. Start with the easiest stuff. Let's start with spark plugs. These just pop right off, in theory. There we go, it's number 6. It's a long spark plug tube. All these brackets are all bent. Then we got the other side here. 3. Okay, those are off and out of the way. Okay, what next can we figure out? Basically, this whole intake plenum needs to come right off, go in the garbage. So it's a matter of finding all the bolts. So I see the bolts here, and the problem is they're all hex bolts. We're actually going to have to bring our hex kit from work tomorrow to get those off. We're not going to get those off today. Got lots of lines going everywhere, so we got to remember where stuff goes. A lot of these hoses are connected to pipes that are connected on the bottom, so we should in theory just be able to unhook those, and a lot of this should just come with it. It's too bad we don't have that hex bolt. Maybe we can find one in someone else's toolbox. See how she works. You might be in luck. We're in luck, we got the right size. Okay, we got all the bolts that we can see. Let's see if this lifts off or not. It's loose. It's a good start. Pull some of these hoses off. It's just a tedious task of getting all the hoses off now. There we go. Big hunk of junk is off, just like that. Look at that, that frees up so much space. Just hoses running everywhere. That's something I don't like on this engine. Such a mess. In Japan, they drive on the right side of the vehicle, whereas here in Canada we have our steering wheels on the left side. Everything inside the dash is reversed. One thing people don't think about when they look at that is the heaters. The heater cores are actually on opposite sides to a Japanese to a domestic. In this instance, they have a whole different set of pipes to run the coolant to that side, rather than this one just comes right over to here. We gotta pull all this stuff off. There we go. And that goes in the bin. Okay, I'm pulling everything off around here, but you want to plug up these holes so you don't start dropping stuff down the engine, because that's not good. Grab some paper or rag or newspaper and just shove it in this hole so nothing else falls down there. There we go. Now the one thing we want to be careful about when we're pulling all this stuff off is exposing dirt into the engine, and this is kind of a dirty engine right now. I wish we could have sprayed it off or something. We're going to need to get a vacuum in here and vacuum all this shit out, because look, we got like leaves, zip ties, stuff like that just everywhere here, and if we open it up it's all going to fall into the engine. Pull valve covers off, we risk getting dirt in. If we pull this intake off anymore, we're going to get dirt in the cylinders. Well, let's go ahead and get the fuel rail out of the way. Okay. Moment of truth. There we go. That is out of there. Oh, here we go. We got the top end off, plugged all the holes. So we're going to need to clean out this valley, change the fabled knock sensor that always goes bad on these. This pipe's got to get changed. Valve covers need to come off, and the front needs to come apart. So a lot of work left, and let's keep going. Okay, let's just have a revisit at our painting and do a couple final coats. These are starting to look pretty good. So now we can let these things dry overnight. and maybe tomorrow we will install them on the engine. We can see the engine's coming along. We got everything out of the valley, so you can see the engine. So we still got to pull these two valve covers, get them painted, get them cleaned. It's really dirty down the valley here. I don't know if you can see it, probably not, but it's very oily, so that's got to get cleared up. And then around on the front, we still need to pull the whole front cover so that we can change the timing belt. I figure since it's out, it's easy to do. We might as well knock off everything we possibly can while it's out of the engine, like the timing belt, valve cover gaskets, all that sort of stuff, knock sensor, just so that it's done, so it doesn't have to come back apart again for another 100,000 kilometers. It's starting to get a bit late now. The sun's going down. It's on the horizon. And we want to go home. I haven't been home all day. I've been at work. Then I come straight out here and work on this. So let's wrap this up for today. Right now, what we want to do is get those valve covers off and get this piece of the front cover off so we can get them to work, get them cleaned up, and then get them prepped and ready to paint. Those are going to red color. Now the red probably won't go great with the gold, so maybe at some point we'll wrap that. Although the gold is a pretty cool color, so red and gold, it might work. So let's get these off, cleaned up, and then we can go home for today. There we go. Look at the flex in that belt. Super loose. Okay, so let's get the valve covers off and then we can get out of here for today. She looks pretty clean, so that's a good start. Okay, so let's pull this side off. There we go. Look at those. A little bit of heat on that one, but look at that side. That side is clean. That is so much better than the way the old one looked. So much better. Look at that. Look how clean this is. And this is clean. The old ones look like goop. See, there's the old one. There's a new one. So we know this engine's in pretty decent condition. There's definitely some slack in here. Get some good light on it, but look at that. So it's a good thing we're changing that and the tensioners that are underneath there, but we got the two valve covers there. We got that piece there, so those are all going to go red with some engine paint, and then why am I out of breath? Been working all day. And then we got the oil pan and the dipstick tube. Those will go on here. Why did we paint these? Just because that was all rusty from the old engine. That was all rusty from the old engine. So we cleaned all the rust off, re-sprayed them so they hopefully won't rust again. And it'll make the engine look a lot nicer, even though you're not going to see it. But so there you have it, guys. We got a whole lot done today. We got all the intake stuff off. We've got the valve covers off. We've got the timing belt cover off. A little more to do yet, but that's a great start. And then we got the oil pan dipstick painted, so that's great. So she's coming along. I'm hoping we can get most of this put back together this week, and then next week we could start installing it in the engine. So that's it for today, guys. We'll be back again tomorrow for another day of activities in putting this engine together. So stay tuned. Please subscribe if you're new. And yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying this video. If anything, I hope they're a little bit informative for Xterra guys or VG33 guys. If you guys need me to go any more in depth in this sort of stuff, please let me know in the comments, because I have a whole bucket load of spare parts. So yeah, there you have it. We'll see you guys tomorrow.